New Holland. A Dutch explorer named Willem Jan Zoon, who was the captain of a ship and crew known as the Doifken, had encountered a new land south of the islands of Indonesia. They were the first Europeans to discover this new land. The Dutch later sailed around and charted the northern and western coastlines of this large, mysterious landmass. They named it New Holland after an area in the Netherlands. The land was not seen as very profitable for the East India Company, so no trade ports were built. This new continent would later be explored further by the British and renamed to Australia. Fiji. A Dutch explorer working for the VOC named Abel Tasman had begun to venture east of the islands of Indonesia into the more isolated islands of Melanesia. He was the first European to discover the islands of Fiji while trying to find a great southern continent. The native Fijians were a very communal culture, emphasizing strong family units. New Zealand. Abel Tasman and his crew encountered the islands of New Zealand and were about to land there until some native Maori people saw them and sent out 2 canoes. The canoe men started yelling, but the crew could not understand what they were saying. The canoe men started blowing their horns at them. One of Abel's crew members had a trumpet of his own and started blowing his trumpet at the canoe men. They both were blowing horns and trumpets at each other until it started to get dark and they eventually both stopped. The canoemen paddled back to the shore for the night, while the crewmen were keeping watch just in case as usual. The next morning, a larger canoe with more native people paddled toward the anchored ship. The crew tried to invite them aboard, but they kept their distance and eventually went back to shore. The next day, even more canoes with more people paddled closer to the ship. The crew had sent out a small boat with 6 crew members to make close contact with the natives. One of the Maori boats had paddled right up to the small boat. For some unknown reason, one of the Maori attacked one of the crewmen and he fell overboard and died. Several other crewmen were also attacked and killed. The main ship started shooting cannons towards the natives and the rest of the surviving crewmen shot at the Maori. Eventually, the ship pulled up its anchor and fled back out into the ocean.